Alright, today I will be finding entity lists for games. I'll be doing it in Assault Cube due to it being simplistic and free. Now to start, you may find an entity list, and unless you get extremely lucky, it won't be a great list. For example, the data could be scrambled, so you could always find a better one. Now when trying to find an entity list, you could always just pointer scan an object's health and trace through the pointer list and try to get lucky by dissecting it. But even a better way of doing it is by getting two health stats of two players and a pointer scanning both of them, then comparing the results, which is what we'll be doing today. So let's pull up Cheat Engine here, and let's attach the game. Great. Now for Assault Cube, for example, I'm going to go to single player, go to bot settings, just max out the time. And I'm just going to set up to about 6 enemies. Alright, now that we're spawned in, we're going to take a few things to account here. That we know that the player over here is going to be at 100 health. So if we go to Cheat Engine, normally they are a float and not like a 4 byte. But we're going to just go 4 bytes anyways, because that's what works for me. So we're going to first scan and just do a couple next scan to filter out some bad scans. And then we're going to shoot, take some health away. And then we're going to go to decrease value. Now I assume it's going to be one of these two, obviously. So we're going to pull up and then shoot again. Looks like it might be the 56 here. And now we're just going to shoot them a lot. Looks like they're not dying, so that's probably the one. And now what we'll do with this one is pointer scan for this address right here. And I like to usually go for about a game simple as this, about 2 to 3 levels. Now when naming your pointer scans, I would try to make it simple as possible. That is still expandable in case you need to do several pointer scans afterwards. So for example, I'm going to be doing teammate 1. Now while that pointer scans, I'm going to do another teammate. We're going to go here. First we got to get the health scanned. Perfect. Shoot them. Decrease value. Oh, look at that. Perfect. Just to test it quick. Yep, that looks good. Now I'm going to pointer scan for this address again. Then we're going to do max level with 3 again. And this one I'm just going to do teammate 2. And most of the work is already over. Now if we open up the pointer scans, we're going to have at least 200 or more pointer scans. That's going to be pretty hard to filter through. So what I recommend is restarting your game and that'll filter down most of the pointer scans. And we're just going to load back into a single player world. I would recommend trying to get the same amount of bots you had before or whatever game you may be in. I think I was in 6v6. Great. Now when loading back in, make sure you reattach your cheat engine. Alright, now if we go back into the pointer list, all your health should be reset, so it should be 100 for each one. So if we just rescan, value defined, 4 bytes, and go 100. I believe this was teammate 1. I'm just going to put another 1 after it. We got that many. Perfect. We'll do the other one now, 4 bytes, 100. Teammate 2, I'm just going to put another 2 after it. Perfect. It's a lot better to cycle through now. Now what I'll do is click the offset 2 to filter so we have less offsets to go through. For example, we will have my game plus 123 as a base address, and then our 0 offset is 1 for both. Then we go to offset 1. And for the first pointer, it's 0, but the next one is 4. Then we go to the next one, it's 8, and then after that is 5, and the 5 points to our health. Now, if we go through the list, 0 and 4 are the only ones that are different. And that will make me to believe that it increments in 4, which is usually what it does in most pointer lists, is increments in sets of like 4, 8, 12, etc. So that's what we want to keep an eye out for. Now that we got both of the pointer scans pulled up, looking through them, we want to make sure we have our base addresses matching. So for example, we have this one that ends with FCC, same with this one. And what we really want to look for is the last offset. Majority of the time when looking at like health stats or anything like that, the last offset will be the same for all objects. So for example, EC is right here. Same with this one, they both point to 100. Now if we go back to the previous offset at 0, this one's 1C and this one's 20. So I'm going to take a really good guess here and say this is probably an entity list right here. We just got to cycle through 1C to 20. So if we take 1C here, double click it and put it in our list here, then if we double click it, we'll have our pointers here like from above, and we just go ahead and remove them and then click OK. Then we're left with this address. Now if we open up our memory view by hitting Control M and then hitting Control D to dissect, or you can go to head and I'm pretty sure it's at dissect data. And then we want to type in this address right there. Now that we have it typed in, we go ahead and define new structure. All right, now that we got pulled up, we want to go ahead and go in the first entry here. And we already got pointer to instance of botnet. That's already a great sign. That means that we're in the entity list. Now if we go ahead and check out here, 1C, that is right here. That is our bot. Looks like we have the position of said bot. And then if we go to EC, down below, perfect. Here it is, EC, that points to 100, so that's their health. Now if we go back to find the other one, we'll be at 20, which is right below it. If we go to EC again, there we go, that's 100. So that's our entity list right there. All right, that was pretty easy to find. Unlike before, if you were to just take each one and having to dissect the pointers one by one through how many of pointers, this made it pretty simple. Lastly, I will note when trying to find an entity list, I will mention again, always try to match up the base address followed by the offset up to a certain point, because then it's, think of it like if you're programming, if you have any programming experience, think of it like iterating, because it's iterating through a list. So EC will always point to health here, but let's just say 20 here is, that leads to offset 1, which leads to health, versus this one is 1C. So think of it like a list, like here. We have to go one by one down the list. Now, we got a really good case here, only having 2 offsets. But if you're struggling, you have like offsets up to like 6. You're going to do a lot of filtering, a lot of exiting the game. So be wary of that. And that about covers it. Feel free to let me know in the comments if you want to see more modding videos like this one, or if you want to know how to develop scripts.